tide.
Tonight we are joined by Chef Mike Correll, executive chef and partner of Ruse in historic St. Michael's, Maryland. Known for his commitment to locally sourced ingredients, Chesapeake-based seafood, and creative culinary craftsmanship, Chef Mike has built a reputation for turning the region's natural bounty into unforgettable dining experiences. His passion for food extends far beyond the kitchen, embracing traditions of hunting, fishing, and gathering that connect us to the land and water. Chef Mike brings a unique perspective on how the harvest ultimately finds its way to the table. We're excited to welcome Chef Mike Correll to the Sporting Society podcast, fueled by Molly's Place.
Man, Mike Correll.
Thanks, man.
How are you?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on here.
No, absolutely. So I'm jacked. I know I didn't tell Matt you were even coming.
Yeah.
No, this was an awesome surprise.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Because now you guys, and I didn't know this till today, you guys have known each other from the past.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost, I would say, well, I think full circle is if we actually make it out into a field and shoot something. But, yeah, I mean, so Matt, I've known Matt now for several years. He's actually a sales rep I work with through my restaurant. And, we just through talking, we found out that we both worked in the same kitchens, and he just started there maybe like a month or two after I left.
We must have just missed each other.
Well, I feel like God's trying to put us together to do something. So maybe it's this podcast or something. So
hey, did I just have divine intervention?
Something like that.
Well, that's awesome. So where was that? Well, first off, let's get to know you.
Sure.
And then we'll come around kind of like career-wise and everything.
Yeah.
Because honestly, interesting people, part of the Sporting Society is what we're here for, right?
Yeah, man.
And kind of profiling you and trying to get everybody to realize, how you got to this point. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up. I'm a Maryland guy. Grew up in Harford County. Grew up in Bel Air. So after I graduated high school, I moved to Philly. Wanted to get into culinary. My mom was like, "Hey, try to Philadelphia. It might be a good area." I knew I just wanted to get out of Maryland. That's what I wanted to do. So I moved
Bel
up there.
Air wasn't going to hold you at home?
No, dude. I was so ready to get out of Bel Air. But anyway, so I moved up there. Went to culinary school. And I just worked my ass off for like 5 years, man. Like literally, I just wore checkered pants for 5 years. My days off, I was working. Like that's what I did. And the last restaurant I worked at up there is a place called La Quata right now, Hotel, which at the time was the best restaurant. It was one of the top ones in the nation.
5-star, 5 diamonds.
Yeah, it had all the accolades, and all the guys coming through that kitchen were just like the best. Like even I just did a pop up down in New Orleans a few months ago with a guy I used to work with there, Tom Brannigan.
Yep.
I don't know if you worked with Tom when you were there. But anyway, yeah, so after a while, I was like, I kind of missed Maryland, moved back to Baltimore, worked around there for a while, and then COVID happened. It just ruined everything. And at that point, I was living in cities for 15 years. And, I was just like, man, well, like the restaurants in cities aren't opening up anytime soon. I need to get out of the city somewhere. And so came across this project in St. Michael's. Didn't really know much about it. I think I came here once as a kid. I went to the Maritime Museum. And, came down here and instantly just fell in love with the area. Really? My business partners in the project at the time, they were just looking for a chef. And we just hit it off immediately. Like we just have the same ideas, the same, just like the same motives for what we want to do. Obviously, we run a successful business, but it's a lot more than that to us. And so, after a couple of years, I approached them about a partnership. They brought me in as a partner. Like they're like, yeah, this is like a no-brainer. We're going to bring you in. And so since then, it's just been this like great project. I've been down here for 5 years, and then after I moved down here, you kind of have to like learn to like love the area, right? Like you can have this amazing restaurant, but like you have to like love where you are at, where you live. And so I've very fortunately kind of going back to like how I got into hunting. I'd never hunted. Excuse me. I never hunted a day before in my life before I moved down here.
Really?
And
so 5 years?
For 5 years, yeah. I've literally been hunting for like 4 years
Awesome.
And so it's later in life, I've always loved outdoor sports, golfing, fishing, hiking, being outdoors. And like, I don't know, I think hunting for a lot of people, it's just like, it's a hard sport to get into. You don't just like, hey, what, I'm going to go hunting tomorrow. Like, it doesn't work that way.
The barrier to entry is a large one.
Yeah. And like, oftentimes you need a mentor. Like my dad, he was really big into like race cars and stuff like that. If I would ask him to go hunting, he'd be like, yeah, son, we're not doing that. But yeah, anyway, so the family I now work with, their father was an avid outdoorsman. He bought 2 farms here on the Eastern Shore back in the 70s. He had their family compound in St. Michael's, and they have a hunting farm down in right outside of Cambridge in Church Creek. Yep. And it's like a 700-acre compound, like several duck ponds. It's just like, it's a slice of heaven is what it is. And so, they were like, hey, listen, anytime you want to go hunting, our caretaker, Timmy Willie's going to, he'll take you out and show you.
The legend.
And he is a legend, man. He's just the most humble guy. He's super like down to earth. And he just tells a lot of great stories too.
Yeah. How did that happen though? Like, was it just like, hey, I want to start hunting? Like,
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean,
you guys just met up and went.
No, man.
Like,
So let me back up a little bit. So what kind of got me interested in the Eastern Shore, honestly, was watching the Steve Ranella Meat Eater episode on the Eastern Shore, man.
you and everybody else.
Yeah, man. You saw that episode about sick deer. I was like, what the hell is this, man? And like me being a chef, like I hear him saying this is the best tasting meat. I was like, I have to try this. And like I said, like my partners had this farm, and like I actually brought that up after I did my tasting for the family. We were sitting there on the back patio talking about all this stuff. And my Miran, one of the siblings, was like, yeah, like, so what about the Eastern Shore do you really want to try? I was like, well, I want to go hunting for sitka deer. And he was like, man, you were talking to the guy. He's like, we got this compound. It is like sitka deer central. Like, we'll set you up. And so, yeah, man, fast forward like a year later, I'm sitting in a blind. I shoot my first deer.
That's
It was
awesome.
from like a 30-yard. It was a chip shot. You know, if I would have missed it, like, I would have, but anyway, I harvested that deer. And like, once I tried it, I'm like, dude, I get what the hype's about.
Yeah.
And so now every season I go back out there, I get a sitka. I got my first buck this past year, a nice 6-point, shot about 120 yards.
I got to be privy of a little bit of that.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because I had some sick of bolognese.
Very nice.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me tell the listeners how I go about this. So we harvest this deer. I let it hang for about 7 days. So luckily, when I shot it, was the opening weekend of sitka season. So it was like super cold out. So we hung it in the shed, let it hang there for 7 days. When I harvested it, I took out the back straps and I took the hams off. And then the hams, I just hung those in my cooler for 4 weeks.
Nice.
So 28-day aged legs. And basically what happens is it kind of builds up this like pinnacle on the outside. Yep. You just like trim that off. And then me, I've butchered plenty of whole animals before. So for me, it's pretty easy. But for the listeners, it's probably a challenge. But hey, just go on YouTube, look up how to do it. It'll show you everything. So
figure out anything
or
on
you know what,
YouTube
or
these
just
days.
becomes friends with a chef, and maybe I could.
That always helps.
That's my angle, actually. So look, we didn't come from the same background of culinary skills here, and it definitely is a.
Well, this is where like being a chef actually like it kind of like this whole is like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, let me be like dry aged the legs, and then what I did is all the meat I just trimmed everything off. And me being a chef, it's all right. Well, how can I utilize the whole thing? So like I made a stock with all the bones. I ground up all the meat, and then at the time for like 6 months I was running this special with Country Ham. I was getting these hams coming out of North Carolina. And we saved all the ham fat.
That apple and honey ham.
Oh yeah, yeah. See this guy, he's like the greatest sponsor for cruise, man.
I'm just a good eater, bud.
Yeah, it's true, man.
I just like to eat, and that's good food to eat.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, so anyway, so I ground up the meat, I ground up that Country Ham fat, and made this like bolognese out of it. And of course, I yielded like 18 quarts, like a ton, and like it gave it to some of it to my staff. But then at the same time, it's duck hunting season, and so at the time, I'm like still trying to make friends with everyone in the community. I was like, well, what's the best way to like help these guys? Right?
Bolognese is a great way to make friends.
It's a great
if I've
way.
learned
Well,
anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy to reheat. You add pasta, But anyway, so I'm like, dude, I need to like make friends out here, like more of these like duck hunters. And so I have like these guys come in the restaurant, and they're like, hey, come out to my property and blah blah blah. So I'd be like, hey, well, here's some bolognese for you. Here's a little carrot kit, a little bit of cheese, some pasta, and that. And guys are like, hey, here's my number. Call me. Like, come out to the property. And so, but yeah, man. I mean, but like, that kind of got my foot in the door a little bit.
Right.
But then so then like the legs, we just dry aged them. And then you get a lot of great like muscles off the back legs, so we just boned them all out, and like we would just grill them like super high heat, slice it like medium rare, and it's like hands down the best venison you'll ever eat. I mean, it's super tender, the meat's concentrated, the flavor's so good, and then honestly, the best part. Actually, I was telling Jesse we were talking about turkey hunting, about turkey hearts, and the best thing I love is the venison heart. Like when I harvest that fresh. We'll usually just slice that really thin, just grill it really quick, a little salt and olive oil, and like that's the way I eat it. And it's like the healthiest part in the whole animal.
By far. And I think it's just tender and I don't know. Some people have probably a brain block on heart, and I think that's probably what it was. Look, I got a brain block on cow tongue.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's a great thing. My grandma, she just burned everything. And that's how I had a cow heart or a cow tongue for the first time, and I'm just kind of out of it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you say that though, hearts are the way to go.
I think it says something like if you watch any of these hunting shows where like they go to like like a third world country or somewhere, and like the guys there like showing them like how to hunt whatever. The first thing they do, they harvest the heart. That is the best piece of meat in the whole animal, and I think a lot I need to start recognizing that. I mean, it really is the best.
Because I'm not smart enough. Why is that? Now, I'm sure that why is the heart better than
I mean, you got to imagine. I mean, it's filtering all the blood. I mean, it's an active muscle. It's constantly going. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. I can't answer.
Look,
it just is what it is.
I have a lot of crazy questions. I don't know the answer to. So
Yeah.
but no, and I think it's really cool because just it's almost in reverse for you, right? Because I think a lot of people like myself, right? I started out very generic Western Maryland hunting, right? It was deer, it was turkey, it was rabbits, it was squirrels, and man, you had one way to do it, right? And a lot of people I know, especially geese and ducks and everything else, they never got into it because they just didn't know how to prepare it, right? And I think for you now, it's like, well, I know how to cook it.
Yeah.
Now I want to know where it's coming from, and now I'm a part of that. So, I mean, so let's just jump way back.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I like knowing you. Where did your passion for cooking come from? Is that something you're just like, hey, I'm going to get out of high school, and, well, Mickey D's ain't an option, so.
I'll tell you what, man, I have a very, it's not a romantic version at all. Like, a lot of chefs have this version of, like, my grandmother did this, I grew up on a farm. Like, there's some sort of, like, story behind it. For me, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I just grew up. I liked watching cooking shows.
Yeah.
My mom was a really good cook.
Really?
She experimented a little bit. She would read all like the cookbooks, the Julia Childs and all that, and she would experiment here and there. But my mom was just like a foundation, a very solid cook. We ate fresh vegetables, fresh meats. We didn't buy any BS.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think like one thing I tell cooks when I hire them is so actually one of the first jobs I had this sous chef that would say, yeah, every restaurant I work at, I save the chef coat. Because it has like the emblem on it and like their name on it. He's like, I save it and I hang it and I put it in my basement like a jersey. And I was like, man, that's like the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, what the hell are you doing? And like 20 years later, I look back on that and I understand why. It's because restaurants is very much so a team sport.
Really?
It really is. Dude, hands down. And I think anybody who gets into sports, when you get into culinary or you get into working in restaurants, you just pick up on it super fast because it's a team-oriented thing.
Okay.
And you don't want to be that guy to like let down the team.
Yeah.
And
It is so funny you say that, and that's exactly how I got into the kitchen too.
Yeah.
I couldn't play lacrosse anymore and needed an outlet for that.
Yeah.
And slid right into the kitchen and never left.
A lot of guys, and girls too. I mean, a lot of people who get in the restaurants, they had that previous, they did sports for X amount of time. They couldn't get it to the next level in college or whatever, and they just got a job in a restaurant and they just like got hooked onto it because it's an adrenaline rush.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure,
Absolutely.
man.
Man,
For sure.
you guys are like really this is cool because you guys are passionate about that. I'm more of an individual sport kind of guy. I like to eat it.
Yeah.
And I like to cook, don't get me wrong, and I
Yeah.
love processing and game management and everything else, but I've never thought of it as that way, right? Because for me, as a person who frequents restaurants, you look at it, you're like, you got your chef, you got some other people that do some things, and then it just happens, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people it's like, it's like watching a swan on the water, right? They're very like majestic looking, and they just float on by, but underneath the water, their feet are just going like that, and that's a restaurant. That's how it operates.
Really?
From a customer standpoint, they should never feel any anxiety or any hectic. I mean, it could be a busy restaurant, but like the vibe and the flow is always going. And I think when you come to Ruse,
100%.
like it's busy there all the time, but the vibe, man. I tell people like you can invest so much money in a restaurant, and if you don't get the vibe right, it's just never gonna work. And that restaurant, man, it's just like we're very blessed to have that space. And when it gets filled in there, the music's going, the food's flowing, the drinks are coming, and people are just having a good time. Like you can't replicate that.
No.
And it's a great feeling.
No, I've told you 1,000 times before. My first experience, it was my wife's and I's 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
We hadn't been there, and that was before you and I really knew each other.
I think
we had the dove hunt.
We had the dove hunt. I recognize you actually went out to the restaurant to go check out my guys on the raw bar. I saw Jesse walking in. I was like, I know that guy. I was like, let me go over and say hi to him.
Yeah, but it was and vibe is a thing, right? And I think the decor is perfect because it's not, look, a lot of times I'm kind of put off by a high-end restaurant, not because the food's not great,
Sure.
it's because maybe the atmosphere is not the same thing for me,
White
right?
tablecloths and all that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I can church it up a little bit, but
Sure.
I like to sit down and have a great meal, and that's what's really cool about Ruse and what you guys put together is that you've got a team. First off, your water doesn't get below half.
Yeah.
Like these people are always interacting and going, so it's super awesome, man. And congrats. And I've said this out loud. It is in the top 5 experiences I've ever had in a restaurant.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised. I mean, actually, when you and I went duck hunting, we were talking about that, and you were like, yeah, when I was in Nashville, I ate at this spot and this spot. And I was like, damn, dude, like, you actually, he knows what he's talking about.
No,
Like, he eats
absolutely.
some great restaurants.
No,
Like,
I just like to eat.
He
boys.
tries to cover up the color of that neck, but he knows what he's doing.
for
No,
sure.
it's and that's really cool. Like I have, man. I've been to some really nice places, but
Yeah.
I always can look back. And number one, it was our anniversary, which was really cool because like my wife and we actually like each other, so an anniversary dinner for us is cool. We both walked out of there, and we don't even remember a lot of what we ate. Everything was like an individual experience, right? So, and obviously Chef Mike and Chef. We're gonna call you Chef,
That's
not
fine.
Mike, but whatever. It was like from the beginning to the end, every single thing we got was like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever eaten. It was like the next one, the next one, the next one. But then when we were done, it was more of like, hey, this just happened in an hour and a half, and we sat there and it felt like 10 minutes. But we wanted to go back, not because I couldn't eat another drop of anything, but I just wanted to sit there in that ambiance and be a part of that vibe, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Man. So, and I mean that wholeheartedly, not because we're friends or anything else. That is
sure.
a top experience I've ever had.
Well,
so,
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I mean, that's something that we try every night to replicate is that feeling, and it comes from the top down, and I put my heart and soul into that restaurant, and a lot of the guys there do too, and
Shows,
we set the standard, and everyone there. I always tell people when I hire them, it's like, listen, like this is a very team oriented thing. You come in, but like you have to be a part of the ship. And if you want to get off the ship, get off the ship. But like, you work in a lot of restaurants where some guys, they're just there for a paycheck.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of restaurants out there that are successful, that's their ethos, and like let them do that. But we're not like that.
Right.
And so everyone that comes in there, you have to like, quote unquote, drink the punch, drink the Kool-Aid. And
it shows through and through.
But like, the guys, like, especially the front house team, those guys learn that, hey man, if we actually like put in the extra work and learn the dishes and do all this stuff, like we get bigger tips, we get bigger paychecks, and like the restaurant's busier, and like now I'm able to pay guys more money and all this stuff. So like I said, we have a great operation. We're actually in the works of doing another restaurant down in St. Michael's. So hopefully,
Nice.
hopefully that'll come in the next year or
That's
so.
awesome. Because Ruse isn't a single entity either. It's a part of Wildset.
Yeah, so we're inside the Wildset Hotel, and it's kind of like a funky setup we have there. We call it campus because it's kind of stretched out everywhere. So we have our main building with the restaurant. Then across the street we have 3 buildings. Each houses about 6 or 7 rooms, and then behind there we have a private event space we call the Milk Truck Garage. Used to be the old Milk Truck Garage for St. Michael's. We renovated the whole space. Has like vaulted ceilings, AV set up in there. We do wedding rehearsals, do parties and stuff like that. Actually, I was telling Jesse here, Guyette and Dieter's actually hosting one of their auctions there this upcoming fall.
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Two things that I love.
I was going to say, this sounds like a match made
Decoys
in
and
heaven.
great food. So.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I mean, you guys jumped in because you guys, like I said, had a connection before. Kind of go, from Philly, and then how did you get down? Obviously, COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for your? Because everybody has a different COVID story. I was in a business that boomed during COVID, right? You guys obviously were not. So
That was a little different from this end of things.
right,
Yeah, dude. It was,
so how was that? I mean, it's a life thing.
I think in hindsight, I think it was probably one of the best things that happened
Really?
in the site. Yeah, because I mean, I think at that time it was just like the whole market was getting oversaturated with restaurants. Everybody was opening restaurants, and what that did is it kind of like unfortunately a lot of people lost their businesses, and that sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of family run businesses have been around for 50 plus years, but it kind of like just reset the market for us. And then honestly, what it did is that opened up a lot of opportunities. Investors were able to go in and pay lower prices for things, and we're able to reinvent some of these brands.
Nice.
For us, that's kind of what happened. There was a local hotel. What the hell was it called? The Five Gables in St. Michael's. My partners came in. They were looking to sell. They bought it for a really good price. They were able to dump a ton of money into it because that's what it needed. I mean, it just needed the whole facelift.
Yeah.
And it being a historical building, it wasn't so easy. Like, hey, just do this, and this. You had to get everything approved and everything. But yeah, I mean, they dumped a bunch of money into it. They reinvented the whole thing. Actually, the space we're in, Ruse, used to be an indoor swimming pool that they had.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it used to be an indoor swimming pool that they had.
Really?
They had to fill it. They had to fill it with concrete.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but yeah, I mean, COVID just reshaped the whole market. And for me, I was like I said, like at the moment, I was like, well, like all the cities are just shut down.
Yeah.
And then you open up for 6 weeks and you'll shut down again. You go from 50% occupancy to 25%. It's like, you just can't operate like that. Like, it's crazy that a lot of these restaurants even made it out. But I was like, I'm just trying to get out of the city. And when I came across this opportunity, I mean, I'm not trying to get all like, political or anything, but I was like, I just need to get out of these cities.
Yeah.
And so, I said a lot of prayers. I was trying to find a sign. And when I went down there and met my partners, like I said, immediately we just hit it off. I was like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, getting in the hunting kind of gave me something to work towards outside of work, because a lot of times chefs, like, your hobby is your profession, right? Like outside of work, you're just cooking all the time, and it's like it's hard to get into a hobby. And hunting is like, I think it's almost like a perfect thing, just like fishing. It ties into what you do for a living. Obviously, cooking good food and whatnot, but just seeing where everything comes from. it makes a huge impact on how you look at ingredients when they walk in your front door, because everything comes in a box, comes in prepackaged. And so being able to see something from the time you harvest it to on a plate, it really changes your perspective on things.
I want to pick your brain on that, because we're coming at this from totally opposite sides of the spectrum. And that I was a hunter first, then I was a chef. So I kind of got to see that evolution, being a chef first and moving into the hunting space. How has that been for you on the back end? So when you get whatever it is that comes through the back door, that subprimal strip, do you see venison in that? When it's a beef subprimal, do you start thinking about that sicca?
I think what's funny, man, like hunters always call things like for instance the backstrap. Yeah. Like before I went hunting, I was like, what the hell is the backstrap? That's a New York strip, man. Like,
Well, boy, we'd have good conversations, I tell you.
But no, man. So luckily for me as a chef, like coming up in La Croix, like you would see this. Like we always got in whole animals, like not all whole animals, but like we always got in whole fish, and like we get in like whole sections and things like that. And like they taught you how to be a real chef, like how to butcher things, how to appreciate the ingredients. And so I was able to go into hunting and already know how to do a lot of these things. I think a lot of times guys that work in restaurants, you already get the prepackaged burgers, the pre-cut chicken breasts. Like you don't see how to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Do you think it's more of a connection to it?
Absolutely.
Because that's, I mean, honestly, like that's why I hunt, right?
I mean, the first thing I would taught, La Croix, I'm going to reference this a lot. I mean, we're talking about restaurants and everything, but one of the biggest things they taught me was just respecting ingredients. Yeah. Right. We're going to spend a lot of money. We're going to find the best ingredients. You better not mess that up.
Yeah.
Treat it with respect. You get a piece of protein in it, you're not throwing it on your cutting board. You gently lay it down. You wipe it down with a dry towel. Respecting the ingredient goes a lot further than just putting it on a cutting board. It's the way you treat it, the way you store it, the way you cook it, the way you present it. It just does all those things. And I mean, on the backside, the reverse side, I guess, of getting into hunting, I've already had that respect for the ingredients. So it's like going into the sport. I'm not out there out there with that M4 just like shooting down animals. Like no, like I'm going for the most ethical shot. I want to be able to like harvest that thing, and like I'm not trying to put a bunch of bullet holes.
Well, in it, what impact and exit wounds do to meat and everything else. So that's look. I think that's probably maybe one of the biggest issues in the outdoor industry. A lot of times, or just in the outdoor community, fish especially, because there's a lot of different people have all the different ways to bleed fish out and do their whole thing. But in wild game, man, I'm a low sub gauge guy, right? More the reason why is because I don't want to blow what I'm trying to get out of it, right? Which is I want to pull legs and wings and everything else. So I'm trying to make as little of an impact, but also be ethical at the same time. What would be one of your what's a good piece of advice for people, because we don't have that knowledge like you do in respecting the game and everything else. To just how would you walk somebody that's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start using wings off of a goose or legs off of a goose or whatever it is to start branching out a little bit.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you're not trying to harvest a whole animal, you should reconsider what you're trying to shoot. I think an easy way of doing things is like if for instance, we just got through turkey season. A lot of guys are just going to chop off the breast, throw out the rest of the turkey. Those duck legs or turkey legs have like some great flavor on them. And like what I do is I always braise them, right? One of my favorite cuisines is Mexican. They know how to cook a lot of game meats. So like what I'll do is, I'll make, when I harvest a turkey, skin the whole thing, pluck all the feathers. Again, I save the hearts. And then what I'll do is I'll just take the whole bird apart, break it down, take off the two thighs, the two breasts. Then you have a carcass. Well, what's the thing to do with that? You make stock, all right? And like, you can make just something as simple as just soup, make turkey noodle soup out of it, And then from there, you can kind of build in other things, right? Like for me, I make what's called pozole, which is like the Mexican version of like their chicken noodle soup, which is the same premise of like you make a stock, you add some chilies to it. They use ingredients called hominy, which is like a dried corn. Yeah. But it's like just like American version, like using like noodles, and adding vegetables. But yeah, I mean, just like making a stock, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to poach this, poach that. The breast I can pound out and like cook. But I think like going into it and like kind of having an idea of like what you want to make, right? Like, hey, I want to make this, and then go and harvest that meat. Don't harvest the meat and be like, all right, now what do I do? It's like, because you're going to just like, plus also it gives you more ambition to like, all right, I really want to harvest something this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We touched on this some months ago, back during goose season. If we have one bird this year, you're allowed one bird per customer per day. Why are you not going to get every bit of meat off that one bird that you're allowed?
Yeah.
It takes an extra 90 seconds maybe
Yeah.
to pop the hip joints.
Well, I think it's
Run a knife
I think it's the
across the
lack of
oyster and be done.
education, right?
Yep.
Look, early on, man, I didn't know that it was any good. I've heard from
an
everybody
underrated
else,
part
oh,
of
man,
the game.
It
Just
could be
bust 'em out.
anything that you're like, man, and that was what I was
just
taught,
don't know
right?
why
Because they're
people
like,
are
I
using it.
know we
Can't
talked
eat
about
off
hearts
that.
a little bit,
big deal.
but like, what's something else
we kind
that
of
you're
moved
like,
on
I
from.
love this piece of meat from.
I'll tell you what, I think the roast all like off of venison, right? Like a lot of times guys are just going to roast a whole piece of meat.
Yeah?
Just
Like a neck roast?
No, like the
See,
hams.
that's where the
the
verbiage
necks too.
comes
The
in,
necks are
yeah.
a great meat in the neck.
Really?
But yeah, like the hams, like I said, that sick I shot last November.
Mm-hmm.
I hung them for 4 weeks, and basically like a pinnacle builds up on the outside. It's like a dried skin almost.
Yeah.
You just skin that off, and like you can butcher out all those individual muscles.
Yeah.
You get like your flat irons, you get your top rounds out of there and stuff like that. Like great roasts, and like the way you butcher it is you cut out all that sinew, and it's like
Yeah.
all just tender meat in there.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of guys will just chuck all that meat into a burger
Silver
mix
skin,
or whatever.
right?
What's that?
Silver skin.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay.
You just go and you just clean all that up. And they're like, it's like even like me in the restaurants, like I use a lot now, like what's called like secondary cuts.
Okay.
Like New York strips and your ribeyes. Like, those are great, but those are expensive.
Hey,
Right?
secondary cut for me, but I love a good New York strip now. So
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're always trying to find like value steaks, right? Like,
Gotcha.
What's something that has like just as much flavor, if not more flavor, that's like half the price. And like you're gonna find a lot of that. That's on not in your back straps. It's not in like the sirloin. You're gonna find that in like on the back side of the animal.
Really?
And that's where we see kind of this flank steak, and skirt steak and hanger steak and all these cuts that everybody 20 years ago really didn't care about.
No.
Kind of
it just got ground in a burger.
Yeah, ground in the
I'll be
burger.
honest with you, I'm guilty. Right?
Yeah.
Growing up, we butchered all of our own deer. We didn't have any money to take them to get them done, right? So we did it. But I can tell you right now, few and far between what didn't go in the burger. Like you cut your, what did you call a backstrap?
Oh, the sirloin.
You cut your sirloins
Yeah.
out, and maybe we're going to do some chip or something to where we'll smoke a ham off the backside. Other than that, man, we called it the fish, or I guess people call it the tenderloin on the inside. So we
Yeah.
called it fish for some reason, but like that was getting saved. Your sirloins are getting saved. Everything else went in the burger.
Yeah.
And that was just what we knew.
Yeah.
We were killing. I mean, it was a lot. Look, we had a high volume deer operation back then.
Yeah.
Because we were, it was a lot of crop damage permits and stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, how do you take somebody now? It's like, man, a flank steak sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you get into it? I mean, like I said, it just takes a lot of like reading and like, I mean, especially now, like YouTube University is a real thing.
Absolutely.
Like, if you want to learn something, just go on YouTube. I mean, you know how many guys are butchering animals on that thing?
That's how we started a podcast.
Yeah, there you go, man. No, I mean, a lot of people even ask me, like, hey, like, how do you know how to do all this stuff? And, like, half of it's just from the internet. Just
Really?
go online. YouTube teaches you a lot of things. And, yeah.
Have you ever done any classes or anything?
Actually, I haven't.
No?
That's actually not a bad idea to maybe offer that at the hotel or something. I mean, because we're always trying to find, like, like I said, we have that event space across the street, so we're always trying to find like things to do over there.
Yeah.
And one thing like we're trying to get into is obviously in the area we're in. December, January is like are typically our slowest months out of the year. The end of Q4, early Q1.
You're right in the heart of hunting
And that's
season.
that's what I've been talking to my guys is like, hey, listen, like we're not tapping into this market yet. Like the hunting, especially out here on Eastern Shore, you're getting a lot of guys coming in from DC and Baltimore and Philly coming down here for a weekend.
Yep.
Where like they are going to invest a bunch of money into an outfitter, but like I mean, I'm sure you guys would probably appreciate this. Like, yeah, I want to go hunting, but I also want to eat well. I want to sleep well. I want to drink well.
Yeah.
And trying to create that whole experience. And I think us in the hotel, like I think we can definitely tap into that.
Yeah, I would say you guys are pretty perfectly positioned for that. So
Yeah,
I could definitely see a
So my
whole
wheel-
venison butchery situation happening.
The wheels
Maybe.
are spinning a little bit.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I would be the first person to sign up for a complete breakdown butchering. Honestly, I don't know. Is there any legalities to that? I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried. We got everybody's got lawyers.
There's a workaround. There's a workaround.
But
I know a guy.
If I think everybody listening right now, no matter how complete of a butcher they are or chef they are, but as a wild game hunter, would take a weekend, be around other people that want to learn, be around the concept behind. Hey, I could take now. Look, I don't leave a thing left on a duck for 90% of the time, right? I'm going to take a duck, and it's got a reason for me. But it's little things I've learned early on. Guess what? I was flipping breast out, and we were moving on down.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could smoke a duck wing. Didn't know it was any good, right? Didn't know a thigh was still a really good option. Now I'm utilizing it on a deer, still probably today, I'm going to flip a lot into burgers. So for me, it would be super awesome. And I would love to be the Sporting Society podcast. Maybe we do a podcast down there with everybody.
Yeah.
But I would love to, and whatever we could do to help you on that, because I think there's 1,000 people listening right now that would say, man, I'd love to have something better than just ground.
For sure.
Venison.
Yeah, I think even for me, it's like especially you go on like a lot of these guys' compounds, right? Like you go to Charlie's farm out in Vienna.
Yep.
That beautiful space, having the lodge, even his other one down there in Church Creek.
Yep.
Like I brought this up to my business partners because they're always like, man, like how can we use this farm more, right? And it's like, dude, like what if we get like a bunch of chefs down here, we go hunting, and actually I'll tell you guys a funny story. So a couple of years ago,
if you need a tester,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, so the family I work with, they're also investors in restaurants in DC, and one of their big investments is actually with Jose Andres, and so
Such small names as.
yeah, name drop. Sorry, something just hit the floor.
Got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Who's he?
Oh, okay, Jose Andres. God, he's like most famous chef in America.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
got
a
a big deal.
No, well, no. So he has a world central kitchen. So he goes in like these like war torn countries, sets up kitchens. Basically, they just fund a bunch of like local businesses.
Awesome.
Like, hey, we're not going to bring in our own cooking equipment, but we're going to give you a bunch of money to get back up and running and just feed the people, right?
Gotcha. Awesome.
He's a humanitarian. He's a lot more than just a chef. He's actually just a great human being.
Gotcha. Sorry, I derailed that a
to
little
speak
bit.
to
but
his
No, it's
culinary
fine.
chops.
Yeah,
I mean, he's outrageous chef
Yeah,
as well.
outrageous chef, and also like just like on a personal level, he's just a great human being.
really.
Super cool guy. Like when I've met him a few times now, he's always like super humble. He'll talk to anybody. He's just a great guy. But
Awesome.
But anyway, getting back into the hunting, so he was like, he would go hunt with the family's dad. They were like really good friends. And so he was like, yeah, like I want to go hunting again. I was like, well, chef, if you ever want to go hunting with us, like you just hit me up. And like maybe like a year later, he came back in, and as soon as he walked in the kitchen, he's like, when are we going hunting?
No
he's
way.
like, I hear about these Japanese deer. I need a Japanese deer.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, man, like you're the one out there saving the world right now. Like, tell me when you have a day off in the middle of the season, and we'll get you out there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like then like a perfect world, like he would come, but like just to get like other chefs from like DC or from Baltimore, from wherever, to like go out and like kind of, because like a lot of chefs, like I don't really know that many chefs are really big into hunting.
Really?
I mean, there's big names and like what's his name?
Chef Paul and those guys.
Yeah, like Jean Paul and all those guys.
Yep.
But like it's not really a big thing in the industry, and like it probably should be.
Why are we doing it, right? And this is coming from not a chef, not a guy who comes from that industry at all.
Yeah.
But like I think we're trying to promote this more than what people are even realizing. But like, I would love to be able to help the next guy down the road for me, right? And say, hey man, why are you getting rid of that? Let's do this with it. Have them over, and I think that's a connective piece. But what you're saying is that you could do it in the chef's world.
Yeah.
I mean, almost. I think, and I just met Jay Fleming the other day.
Yeah.
He's a local artist and everything, and they were talking about the catfish initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of guys are cooking catfish in restaurants across the bay and everything else. Same kind of concept of getting these people involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about growing the sport, and then a lot of times you see chefs, going to the farm now, like that's like a thing, right?
Right.
And like, what's like a better thing than going out to like a field and like harvesting some meat?
It should be a very, very easy transition.
Yeah.
That's if you,
Well, I think
claim your farm to table, it does not get more farm to table than your vegetables.
We're just skipping the farm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because really, that's what it is. I mean, we're just taking it from a farm, not through a farm, and putting it on tables. Now, I guess it's a little tough because obviously the rules between wild game and not wild game. But what do you think that looks like? Because I'm here to start initiatives, man. I like to get things moving and going. So
I mean, listen, I think the first thing is just like getting people like hooked onto the sport, right?
Yeah.
Like getting a group of guys come down and like go hunting and like see what it's like to like go duck hunting in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Waking up at 4 o'clock, like barely getting out of bed, and then you go out there and you just hear the flutter of the wings flying over your head, and yeah, man, it's like getting out there. Just get your blood running. Shit, it's actually get me fired up right now.
What are you talking about? You've hunted with me, you know I get fired up.
Oh
so.
man, hell yeah!
I don't know. I gotta calm down a little bit.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think there's also, there's a lot of great opportunity there. Also with like, well, I think the hardest thing with chefs is like, it's like, well, just anybody in general is getting into the sport. I think we kind of talked about this earlier. It's like
time's
to
restricted
you got to
too.
find somebody, right? Like having that mentor, right? Like like a lot of guys don't have that dad or that mentor to like get them into the sport.
Absolutely.
But I think right. I mean, I think there's a great opportunity, right? Because also there's other people trying to get into the sport.
Yeah.
And like if we were to have like a thing where like a bunch of chefs came up, you talk about hunting, they harvested everything, make a dinner, have a big live fire. I mean, how many people would not want to show up to that and like be a part of that?
I would not miss that for
I
the
would miss that for
world.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
I told you my favorite thing to do is eat. Period. Right.
I mean, a lot of people are like that.
But I think that who knows what you can make of that? Because you take all the different culinary arts and skills and styles and stuff. I'm 100%. I love to judge it. If you're going to make it a competition, I'm in.
Yeah, well, and then also too, like down here, you just have all these great farms, and guys are involved in the sport. Like we were talking about, like Charlie earlier. Like Charlie's just one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. He's a great guy, and he has these amazing properties. And like something like that, I'm sure he'd be like, hell yeah, let's set it up.
He also likes to eat. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does.
Yeah, we actually joke about this, and I don't know if you knew this or not. So when we went to Ruse with Charlie and his wife, he's one of my dearest friends in the world, and his wife, right? He'll never come on a podcast. I've tried for years to get him on a podcast, and he should be to talk about his stewardship and conservation. He just won't do it. But we all had ordered, and then I was sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? Y'all should really have the chicken, right? And then everybody, like, we're kind of dabbling around. We ordered a table chicken. Okay. So we all had our meals and then ate an entire chicken.
Yeah.
And it was, we joke about it, but like, it was probably the coolest thing we ever did because you got to say it. That might be the world's best chicken.
Dude, it's
got to be close.
We were talking about a guy in Dieter. I just had the same conversation with John Dieter the other day. Everyone comes in for that damn chicken, and it's just like,
It's so good,
It's
though.
amazing. Yeah, it's the best version of a smoked chicken I've ever had.
Oh my gosh, man, it's so good. Yeah, but no, I'm 100% in with that. I think it would break a lot of boundaries down for you in the culinary world. Us trying to, I mean, hey, look, you do that, you get it off the ground. I'm telling you, there's a million guys out there who just want to know the knowledge. Maybe they're not YouTube guys, right? Maybe they're more hands-on learning because it's still. I got to be honest with you, it's a little intimidating.
It's a craft.
Yeah, because it is a craft.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit there all day and watch somebody build a house, but
right.
I'm not going to go out there and actually saw my own lumber and do all that stuff.
And I mean, it's got to be daunting. Like if you go from picking up your beer flat where everything's already cryovac or paper wrapped and there's your deer. To sitting there and looking at it hanging and going, okay, where do I start on this?
That's it, right? And I think that for me, low level, I love to cook. Probably half the time it's not great. It's a bigger barrier to entry for me on the butchering and not having the same thing over and over, right? Because like in my house, like I can tell you, I could probably take 100 things out of a fridge, make it into something, right?
Right.
But the taste always kind of comes back to the same thing, right? It's always kind of the same profile. So I know there's a lot of guys that would like, hey, I just don't know how to make it different.
Yeah.
So if that's something, and look, there's a million recipes. You can go on TikTok, learn how to cook something, right? But it's still, it's not going and buying a chicken, a pack of chicken breast. This is taking a whole animal and then getting started to be able to create the next and the next and the next.
Sure.
So I would love to see that happen, man. I'd be the first guy in line. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, we're getting the wheels getting the wheels turning right now. I mean, that'd be something maybe I could try work on that in the fall season.
So talking about like people and things that you've seen, what do you think is the biggest mistake for home chefs, right? Like the people who are outdoorsmen and
I think
just getting into it.
I mean, what's the thing that like most home cooks like mess up?
Yeah, like if you're saying, hey man, I can make. You said a lot of big words tonight. I didn't really know a lot of them, right? But like I can't make a bolognese.
Yeah.
But what do you think the first mistake is with wild game, especially that people make? Is it not getting the silver skin and do it and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge mistake. Is just not like I wouldn't say like people not experimenting is not a thing, but like. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people like just don't like. They just don't. I think people are scared to mess up. Is what it is.
I don't want to waste it.
And like sometimes, like I mean, listen, like nobody wants to waste anything. But like, what's worse, you throwing away in the trash, or you trying to make something out of it and it just doesn't work out well?
Yeah.
You know, because like you're gaining knowledge out of that. Hey, next time I won't do that. So and like on top of it, like it's like it's a free product, right?
Yeah.
If you mess it up, you mess it up. But you know what? You showed that animal respect.
Yeah.
You were going to try and cook it. You burnt the hell out of it, or whatever the hell
you
you
got to
did.
learn something.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, worst case scenario, you feed it to the dog. It is what it is.
I'll hop on that question though.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake people make, and I'd like to get your opinion on this as well. I think it is in the field game care, and that we're all guilty of it. You shoot a pile of doves
Yeah.
It's 98 degrees. They are sitting in the feeble shade of one.
Yeti bucket.
Yeah. And you're going, yeah, they're probably fine. And I'm not saying we need to dive into temperature danger zone or anything here, but get the things cool as quick as you can, whether it's doves, whether it's deer, whether it's the pile of skate at the bottom of your skiff when you're out there slamming skate.
Which are plentiful right now.
Yes, they are. That's may or may not have weekend plans.
So how do you get around that? I mean, because just go back to it, right? I'm a gear guy. I got 1,000 coolers, but am I going to put a cooler on my back to walk out into a dove field? Like, how do you get around that?
Dude, I don't know, man. That's a great question.
I think to speak to what you said earlier, Chef, I mean, it's planning. And and again, you're not going to walk out in the middle of the patch every time you kill a dove and go put it in a cooler.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that's if you can mitigate that at some point if you grab one of these cool Yeti buckets or something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing actually I see a lot of guys do that makes my blood run cold is when I see guys like just harvest meat right off the carcass. Like, man, I remember the first time I went sika hunting, and we're referencing our buddy Timmy who runs the farm there. And Timmy's a good old boy, and like he's not a chef. Let me tell you, he is not a chef. And so
Me and Timmy get along.
Oh man, yeah. But anyway, he like goes like he's like, all right, chef, what do you want on this? Oh, what cuts do you want on this sika? I was like, I want the whole thing. He's like, all right, well, let me take this leg out, and he just like makes this giant cut through the hide and just rips it open and just like rips the leg out. And it was impressive to watch because he got it done. But I was like, man, you just hacked up the hell out of that leg. You know, like for me, it's like I want to like take the whole animal. You're gonna gut it first, cool it off as fast as possible, skin the whole thing, and just let it sit. Like don't go in there ripping out cuts. Just wait, man. Patience is your best. Patience is a virtue, and patience is the best thing. Because like meat, man, just think that thing's been running around. You just shot it. It just bled out. You know, it's going to be all tense and everything. And guys want to go in there and cut meat. No, man, let that thing rest. Let it sit in the chill box. Let it sit out. You know, if it's a nice cool day out, let it just sit out at least overnight, if not a couple days.
See, I think there it is. I think a lot of people in my shoes would be like, well, I've been told you got to butcher it right away. Like, you know, because maybe you don't have a walk-in box or whatever else. Like, is there a way to get around? I mean, obviously temperature, if it's cold, you can let them hang or whatever else. But
I mean, listen.
I'm scared of what happened. In my mind, I was always scared of what happened, what it looked like the next day. And I'm like, God, it ain't even good anymore. I mean, and you saying, like, I'll let it sit out for 10 years.
I'll tell you what. So I'm trained. Obviously, I'm a trained chef. I'm in the business. It's USDA. You know, we have the health department comes through and checks everything. But, like, as a hunter, you can kind of skate by in a few things. You don't have to follow the same rules. I mean, think about this. For thousands of years, people harvested wild animals, and they would just hang it out in the sun all day, and it was fine, right? I'm not saying do that. But, like, you know.
Don't do that.
Yeah, please, do not do that. But, like, you know, like, for me, it's like everything has to be all right. If it's over 42 degrees for more than 4 hours, you got to throw it away. You know, it's like crazy rules like that. But, you know, when you harvest an animal, man, it's like let it sit out. Like, you know, like obviously if it's 90 degrees outside, you want to shade it, put it in the cool box. But, like, in the middle of fall, if it gets up to like 45 degrees, like, it's going to be fine. But yeah, I think just like taking the whole animal and like, letting it rest, man. I think that's the thing a lot of people do.
I just had a little bit of relief hit me because I mean, I'm telling you, like it was always so fast. It was like, especially early season, like man, we got to do something with these quick, right?
Yeah.
And now I've also seen, and I'm going to experiment a little bit, but dry aging ducks, right? I'm a waterfowl guy. I've seen them plucked, whole body, hanging in a fridge.
Yeah.
Until, and not to be graphic, until the head separates from the body.
Yep.
And then that's when they're eating them.
Yeah.
What? That doesn't even make sense in my mind.
Man, that is
That
honestly,
is
that's
old
the
school
best thing.
English.
Actually, let me tell you a cool story when I worked so going back to our roots at La Croix. First time I ever cooked a wild game bird, our chef there had this guy bring in woodcocks, whole feathered, like intestine in them and everything. And this guy drops them off, and my chef was like, man, I don't know how to cook these. So we called a local French chef. He was like, hey, like, how do I do this? He's like, just hang them in your cooler for like 10 days and then process them. He's like, okay. So he has them hanging, and then we had this like VIP walk in the door like 10 days later. And my chef's like, hey, go in the walk-in and grab two of those woodcocks and start picking them. So I'm like picking the feathers off, and it's just like coming off in chunks, the skin and everything. Because like obviously we're trying to like harvest the perfect animal, have the skin be perfect, like no pin feathers. And I'm sitting there pucking the feathers, and like it's just coming off in chunks, like the skin and everything. And my chef's like, oh shit, like I don't look good. Let's figure this out. So we end up like doing a couple things to it, and like it came out great.
Yeah.
But no, like I mean, I do that now with all my anything I harvest. I let it hang. I mean, even in the restaurant, all my proteins. I'll tell you what, fish. Dry age your fish, guys.
What?
Yep. Dude, whole fish.
Come on.
Dry age. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. If you like crispy skin, dry age your fish. I do it to every animal.
I thought we were just supposed to. I mean, as soon as I got it to a grill.
No. You harvest that thing. You obviously want to gut it. You want to bleed it.
Yes.
You want to scrub out that cavity. But if you have a cooler, especially if you have like one with a lot of airflow, make sure the scales are off it, wipe it clean, and just hang it for at least a day. And you go to grill that thing whole, and it's going to come out crispy. That's a trick. That's a trick there for everyone that's listening. All the fish, I always let it hang for 2 or 3 days. Makes all the difference. And on top of it, because like when you think about your dry
Scared
aging,
to death. Well, get it on ice. Like, hurry up.
I mean, well, the crazy thing about it, man. Like, I mean, I've dry aged fish for like over a week, and there's no smell to it. There is no smell. I've worked with so much fresh fish that stinks. I will dry age a perfectly harvested fish. I'll dry age it for like 10 days and have zero smell on it, and I'll eat it raw.
Is it because of temperature?
It's because of temperature, and it's also the way you harvest it, right? Like you hear a lot about like guys bleeding fish, right? Most guys harvest a fish, you're going to throw it in a bucket full of ice and just let it suffocate. The best way to do it is you got to bleed that fish. You bleed it, it's going to make all of the difference.
Really? Well, and to what Chef said about airflow, that's another, in my opinion, cardinal sin when it comes to game in general, in that you have the guys that are afraid to let it hang, right? So the first thing to do is they grab a big Yeti, throw it in the bottom, dump 7 bags of ice on top of it, and walk away.
Yeah. Welcome to
And then
world.
they wonder why their meat is just kind of this gray, flabby nonsense.
Okay, so that makes sense now.
So
because I think I'm guilty of it, right? I've done it, and now
we
tuna
all
totally
have.
different. Like we're trying to bleed tuna, and I want to eat it sashimi style, so I'm trying to get it cold and eat it right off. But man, that's a game changer. Honestly, like that's something we probably need to dive deeper into.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe at a
later date.
wild game expo or something. Yeah, but
if something like that were
to ever happen,
it'd be crazy.
Absolutely.
That'd be crazy.
So why does my trash can smell like that if 10 days later I can dry age a fish like that?
I mean, because it's air movement, right? Like there's because basically when you dry age something, right, all the moisture is trying to escape.
Okay.
So if you have the airflow, all the moisture is expelling.
Gotcha.
And so nothing's sitting on the skin, so it's not collecting any bad bacteria.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, listen, I know it sounds wild to dry age fish, but I'm telling you, it makes all the difference.
Is there a well? Let's talk about locally here a little bit. I mean, we have the world around us, right?
Yeah.
Between sick of deer and then now we're in the summer here, fishing season. Is there a certain fish that you're like, man, I'd rather have that than anything? I'm not very partial to rockfish myself.
I'm the same. I'm not a big rockfish guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up eating it a lot. I mean, I've definitely had some really good rockfish here from the Chesapeake. But for me, it's just like I don't know, for my business, what I try to do with the restaurant is I try to offer different experiences.
Yep.
You know, you go anywhere around here, everyone's going to have rockfish on the menu. Most people do, at least.
Yep.
You know, I'm still trying to find a way to put blue catfish on the menu because I definitely want to have that impact on the environment.
Nice.
But my biggest thing is like I think farm raising is the next way of of us eating sustainable seafood. I have a guy, Ty Walker, based out of Newcastle, Virginia. He has a farm called Smoking Chimneys.
Okay.
Very proud to serve his trout. It's like some of the best I've ever had.
Nice.
I want to say I was one of the first people to use him in the area. And then this year, he's a great guy at marketing. He's like now in like all these like Michelin star restaurants.
Really?
Oh, dude, he's like in like
that's awesome.
He's at a 3 Michelin star restaurant called Smith in Chicago.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean his products are amazing, and I'm still lucky to be able to buy his fish. But yeah, I mean, like I try to work with like small producers. I mean, especially with the oysters.
Yep.
I have my guy Phil Valiant, based out of Matomkin, Virginia, who's just amazing. And he's always like working off the docks. He'll be like, "Hey, chef, I got scallops from this guy coming in. You want them?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, give me 50 pounds. You know, I'll take whatever you got." Because it's like super easy. Like I do things differently with my restaurant. A lot of guys want to work with Cisco, U.S. Foods, one-stop shop. Like, dude, on a Sunday, I have a pad of paper and I have like 30 vendors I work with. Right? Like for instance, like Matt with his company, I only get a handful of ingredients for. They have a great portfolio with Italian and Spanish foods. Nice. So I get like my Parmigiano Reggiano from him. You know, a couple other ingredients from him, but then like I get things from other guys, and like I'm very nitpicky about like what I get.
Nice. So you kind of keep it all across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like I don't know, man. It's that attention to detail that separates us from everyone else.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so look, when we started this, everybody was like, "Oh man, what are we going to talk about?" It's almost been an hour, so to kind of wrap up here a little bit. If we have the Sporting Society podcast, Wild Game Adventure, what would be your favorite wild game dinner that you would put together?
Oh man, yeah, I think
that's a tough one.
Well, this would be a perfect scenario, right? Like, figure Sitka season starts in November.
Starts with Sitka?
Well, I mean, rifle season.
Okay.
So I would get in Sitka. I would like dry age it. I think we would do an event, like go out hunting in the morning, come back, do like an afternoon, like live fire, like grill up some steaks, do some like whole ducks. You figure that time of year too, you're still gonna get some great vegetables.
Yep.
So I mean, you got to have some sort of like some. You got to have some.
You
don't need to.
Yeah.
That's,
But yeah, man, I think like a weekend type thing. Like,
Yeah.
Based around just like good people, good drinks.
Awesome.
Good food.
What would be your number one wild game meal? I know we talked about Sitka a lot, but go across the board. If you had any wild game, coast to coast, border to border, what would it look like on a plate for you?
Dude, I don't know, man. Because like I'm still kind of new to this whole thing. I haven't I mean, I just told you the other day. I told you today. I'm trying a wild crane that our buddy
Right by the sky.
Yeah, Riley Dieter just shot out in New Mexico. He said he's going to drop me off the samples. So I mean, I still got a lot of things I want to try. So
That's awesome. Okay.
I'm just looking for a smorgasbord, I guess, like a buffet style type thing.
You talked a lot about Sitka, though. I mean, that's going to be probably on that menu.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I mean, I love venison, but like when I tried that for the first time, I was like, now I know why people people love this. I mean, it's a small animal; it don't get a lot of meat off it, but what is on it is some of the best I've ever had.
Nice.
I'm going to ask a question on that, Chef.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you had squirrel yet?
I have not had squirrel,
We're
but I
gonna
will
have to
try.
change that.
Well, Chef, that might be something I know a little bit something about.
It is, and I
Squirrel and
maintain
dumplings, squirrel pot pie. In
the
my house?
Iberico of rodents.
No shit.
Yep.
I don't even know what that is. What is Iberico?
Oh man, that's for the next podcast.
All these big words, boys.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, hey, look, this is something that we're going to do with everybody. Coming to the end here.
Speed round.
It's a speed round. We're calling it the Molly's Grab and Go. So,
Good.
before we wrap up, we want to do something we're going to carry through every episode. A little Molly's Grab and Go brought to you by Molly's Mart, located at the Kennedyville location, a one-stop shop for all pre- and post-hunt needs, including the world's only Mossy Oak Bottom gas pumps.
All right.
Have you been up there yet?
I have not.
All right, you got to go see
We
the gas
got to
pumps,
take a
man.
road trip, Chef.
Yep.
Sure,
So
man.
eight rapid fire questions for you. Answer them how they are, and everybody can argue until next week on them. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it. So we kind of talked about it a little bit. Venison or duck?
Eating or hunting?
Ooh, eating.
All right. So I'll go eating Sitka, but definitely hunting ducks.
There you go.
There you go.
Cast iron or grill?
Cast iron.
Really?
Yeah, got to get that sear, man.
Okay. We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
We actually hit this one too. Rockfish or redfish?
Redfish.
Okay. Oysters now. Raw or roasted?
Raw. I mean, listen. Yeah. I mean, well, again, I mean, if we're talking about Chesapeake Bay oysters, I'm roasting them. But if I'm like getting oysters from like Maine or like Massachusetts, raw.
Okay. You may change my oyster game because I'm a big like Chincoteague guy. I like good salty brine. But
I think that's one thing we do great at the restaurant is we open people's eyes to different oysters. I
Definitely.
mean, Chesapeake is a bounty of a lot of great ingredients. Oysters is definitely one of them, but there's a lot of great oysters that come from the North Atlantic.
nice. All right. So a morning hunt or an evening bite?
I gotta say morning hunt, man. I mean, because like for me, like I work a lot and I don't get up like super early when I go to work, but I look forward to like getting off of work at like 10, 11 o'clock, getting like those 3-4 hours of sleep and getting up at 4 o'clock. I love that grind, dude.
I'm with you there. So we hit you already. Favorite wild game meal today?
Like the one I've had or the one I make?
The one that you have.
Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I've had buddies bring like wild ducks before. I cooked them at the restaurant and come up with some pretty good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really enjoy cooking the wood ducks a lot. I have a live fire grill at the restaurant, like a little one, and I love cooking the wood ducks over that. So
I love a good wood duck myself.
Yeah.
So one ingredient you can't live without.
salt.
Just sea salt or kosher salt?
I mean, here, let me change my answer. One ingredient I can't live without. God, man. I'll tell you one thing.
Salt's a good one, though.
I'll tell you what's a spoiler for a lot of people probably listening. I use in my restaurant a lot. MSG.
Really?
I put MSG in a lot of my food.
It's like Frank's Red
Just a
Hot.
little bit, man. It's that little, the French call it je ne sais quoi.
Okay.
MSG, man.
Explain. I'm just a dumb guy. What is MSG?
All right, so monosodium glutaminate. It's a big word. It's all right.
It's a lot of big words.
It's a natural occurring sodium that's found in like tomatoes and Parmesan cheese and seaweed.
Have you heard the phrase or the word umami?
Yeah.
You've heard that bannered around,
Yeah.
right?
It's like a savory note in food, right?
Okay.
What that does is it draws out the savory note in food. Like a lot of times, like people love like Chinese food,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And it's like always, it's always like that balance of like sugar, salt, MSG, and I mean, I kind of do that with a lot of my food. It's like
Really?
that, just the balance of like sweet, sour, salty,
crazy.
and then a little bit of umami. And like I don't use a ton of it, but like I put it in a lot of like my sauces. Like anything I cure, I do like a salt sugar ratio, and I always put a little bit of MSG in there. And
It
makes
may have just fixed my entire game. I didn't even know what it was. Now I should have it in my house.
You should. I think a lot
Really?
more people should have it. I think people have always had this stigma about it's bad for you and it's not.
Yeah.
It's great. Like I said, you sneak it into a lot of things, it's going to up your game. That's an easy, quick fix there for anyone listening.
Really?
You're trying to like, man, how can I make this taste better?
Yeah.
A lot of times, just a little like MSG.
How am
More
I
salt.
going to spice up this chicken hamburger helper?
I mean,
MSG.
well, I mean, if you're buying hamburger helper, it's already in
It's
there.
already
probably.
too gone.
Oh, better,
Yeah,
even better. All right, perfect. All right, so and this would be the last one.
Sure.
If you could cook for anyone, alive or dead,
Yeah,
who would be at your table? Give me 3 people.
man. So people I want to meet. Actually, man, no, I don't know.
It could be anybody. It could be relatives. Or it could be whoever you want to.
Man, well, one's definitely my dad because I miss him. Say number 2, probably. I don't know. I think Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I want to pick his brain.
Nice.
And man, something out of right field. Benjamin Franklin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to catch up old Ben on some stuff, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, that guy was a savage back in the day, and
Yeah.
like, you know, he had all the power of like all the other everyone else in Congress, and he
Yeah.
just did his own thing, man. And he was a rebel.
That'd be a cool table.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, look, we're going to go back to this, and I know we're going to wrap up. We may be out of time now. I don't even know. But talking cast iron versus a grill,
Sure.
and in the sear, and I get the sear side. Why is it cast iron?
Well, also it's just more versatile, right? Like grilling, it's like you can only do one thing, right? You can just grill something.
Gotcha.
Or cast iron, you can sear it off, you can braise things, you can let it go for a while, cook low and slow.
Yep.
I mean, obviously you can cook low and slow on a grill, but I think it's more versatile, right? Like if you're talking about utilizing a whole animal, like
Yep.
you don't want to grill every single thing on an animal.
Yeah.
Certain things would be a lot chewier. You can just braise it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think a grill is entirely overused when it comes to wild game cooking a lot. I feel like it's kind of the obligatory thing. Like you take that backstrap and you slap it on a grill, right?
Yeah.
And
Said every red of blood in America man
absolutely.
ever.
But
No, I'm
that's
kidding.
so the thing we get all excited about, right? When we look at like that perfectly seared New York strip is what's called Maillard. And that's big words, right?
Yep.
But that's that crust that where they say you caramelize it, so you seared the juices in there.
Okay.
But that Maillard reaction is what we are all going for. And when
Yeah.
you're talking about a grill,
Can't get it.
you only get a little bit of Maillard.
plus on top of it, going back to cooking, if you cook off like a nice steak or like a venison steak or whatever, you throw some butter in there, some garlic, and you baste it. You just pick up that butter, get it all foamy and brown. You put it on top. It's just you can't do that on a grill.
That is true. All right. So what about now? This is going to be everybody else's question. Cast iron's cool, but how do I take care of it?
Don't wash it with soap.
First thing my wife did when we got married and moved in together. So look, I may be lying a little bit. I use cast iron a lot. The very first thing she did, I mean, Dawn soap with a scrub brush. And
I
it
mean,
killed
listen,
me.
if you do that, you got to season again, right? And
Yeah.
how do you season it? You just put it on a super hot grill, or you throw it in your oven
Yep.
as hot as it gets. Let it go for a while. If there's a lot of like specks on there or anything, what I do in the restaurant is we'll take kosher salt,
Okay.
we'll put it in there and use it as like sandpaper. You take like a spatula,
Really?
and you just like shave it down on the surface, get all those specks up. Wipe it out with a dry towel, and then you just rub it down with oil.
Okay.
And then put it back into the oven.
Is there a certain type of oil?
Just a neutral oil. Don't use olive oil.
Okay.
I don't really know much about using animal fats or anything, but I would just use
Beef tallow.
Well, probably beef tallow has a pretty
Yep.
high smoke point.
Okay.
But yeah, just like a neutral oil,
Canola oil,
vegetable oil, stuff
Yep.
like that. Don't use olive oil; it would just ruin the pan even more.
Here I go. Guess what I also have done before?
Yeah.
Olive oil or all right. No, that's awesome, man. And Mike, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
I think we've got probably we're scratching the surface here, right?
Yeah.
What was that big word you were talking about that you sear a steak off?
Maillard.
Maillard.
We just got the Maillard of this whole thing, right? And I hope we can figure out how to do something together
Sure.
because I think there's a ton of people that'll be interested in it. And at the end of the day, who doesn't like a better meal especially at their own house, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And if you get a chance, make sure you're heading down to St. Michael's. Rouge,
Cannot recommend Rouge.
Wild set, like I'm telling you, top 5 restaurant and experience I've ever had in my life. And congratulations, man! All the
thank
success is coming to the right person. Trust me, it's
Very
awesome
much
to
so.
see.
Well, I
and,
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And as a friend, I love to see it for you. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to see. But we're gonna wrap up, man, and we'll try to do this again and let everybody know what's gonna happen in the fall when we're ready to do this thing.
Well, I'm probably the least experienced hunter that's ever going to be on this
No,
podcast.
no.
But definitely probably the most experienced chef on there. So
I love it. It's a
we'll
balance.
meet somewhere in the middle.
Look, I got no problem. We can kill it. You grill it.
There we go.
No, but I'm sorry.
We're gonna
I'll
sear it.
kill it and you cast iron it.
yeah, my yard.
My art. Awesome, man. Hey, appreciate you
Hey, thanks,
so
buddy.
much,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Thank
Chef,
you.
thank
man.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
From the marsh to the mountains, from the timber to the tide. Welcome to the sporting society, fueled by Molly's